Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you about why you should strive not to talk poorly about others behind their backs. And I'll also give you some tips that you can use to eradicate this behavior from your life so that you can live a much better life and build better relationships with other people. Because if you have this habit and you do it often, I can tell you it is going to hurt your reputation quite a lot. Because the problem here is that when you talk poorly about other people behind their backs, whoever you're sharing this with, whoever you're venting with, is going to assume that you're going to give them that same treatment when they're no longer around. So as soon as they leave the room or they go home or you're separated in some way, they're going to assume that you will talk poorly about them behind their backs as well, which is probably the case if you have this habit. So you want to eradicate it as quickly as possible because you're not going to earn other people's trust and respect if you are constantly doing this. So it's in your best interest to eradicate this behavior. And you can do that by doing a few things that I'll share with you. One of the main things you want to do is make a commitment to yourself to get rid of this behavior, to change yourself. You need to decide that you don't want to be this person anymore, because talking poorly about other people like that doesn't serve you at all. Instead, you should aim to be the bigger person as much as possible. Aim to develop that integrity, that moral code, that you won't talk poorly about other people behind their backs because you don't see any purpose in it. One, it's not going to fix the problem. You're basically just complaining, and complaining never solves anything. You need to be proactive and figure out how to solve problems rather than just complaining that the problems exist. Because, really, it's a waste of time. And then all it does is just make you look bad to other people. So decide that you want to fix this behavior. And one of the ways that you can help yourself do this, besides just making that commitment to yourself, is to start developing awareness surrounding this problem. So notice yourself when you do it. Catch yourself when you are talking poorly about somebody and realize that you want to change that behavior. And if you can, even develop this to the point where you can literally catch yourself having these thoughts before you actually start talking crap about someone. Because then you can actually stop yourself from ever doing it in the first place. It's okay to have those thoughts. Everybody does. We all have thoughts about somebody where we think, why the hell is this person the way they are? They're a shitty person. They're making life more difficult for the people who know them. We all think that way from time to time. But that doesn't mean you need to actually voice it and bring it out into in the physical world. You don't need to do that. Hold yourself back from actually speaking to it. Just keep those thoughts where they belong, up here, and don't let them escape via your mouth. That's what you want to train yourself to do. So, as much as possible, just develop awareness around those thoughts and then decide that you don't want to actually speak them. So, when you have those thoughts and you feel them rising up, just say, hey, look, I want to be the bigger person here. And I don't want to be that guy that speaks crap about other people because it'll make me look bad, and it's just not a good way to go through life. And then decide to not say anything. There's a saying a lot of people throw around, and it really does have value, which is either say kind things or say nothing at all. And I really believe in this case you should live by that. It's a good mantra to have, because if you're not going to say kind things about other people, you really shouldn't say anything, because all you're going to do is tarnish your own reputation. Everybody already knows that the person you'd be complaining about probably isn't the best person out there, unless you're a bad judge of character, because everybody's going to catch on to the behavior that this person has that they don't like. So everyone's going to be on the same page about them. You don't need to actually voice or speak to it. Everybody already knows it. So basically just choose to say nothing at all. If you can, at least, because that is a good way to go. I also like to live by another version of this. Instead of saying kind things or say nothing at all, I like to think if I wouldn't say this stuff to their face, then I definitely won't say anything at all. Because if you're going to talk crap about someone, they could potentially find out. So if you wouldn't actually say it to their face, then definitely don't say it behind their back. Because if they find out and you're afraid of them, or maybe they're bigger than you, or they're more confident than you, or something, or they're confrontational, you're going to have to deal with the fallout from your actions. Basically, what you say has consequences. So unless you feel like you can actually handle that person confronting you about it, then definitely don't say anything about them. I'm way more likely to talk crap to a person's face because I don't like them, or because they're walking over my boundaries. I'm way more likely to call them out to their face than ever say anything bad about them behind their back. Because there's just no point in talking crap behind their back. It doesn't solve anything. But if I confront them and say, hey, look, your behavior here wasn't cool. You're stepping over my boundaries. I don't appreciate that. Please stop doing that. If I at least do that, now I'm being proactive. Now I can solve the problem. I can solve that behavior that they had that upset me or didn't sit right with me. So that's a much better route to go, but it does require more confidence. And for all the guys out there, I would highly suggest working out so that you develop more of that confidence with your ability to protect yourself, because it's hugely powerful, and so many guys kind of don't realize the extent of a confidence boost that it is. So definitely urge all men to work out and get big so that you can more back up your boundaries like this. You can call people out. You won't be afraid of them becoming physically violent. And the bigger you are, the less likely they will be to become physically violent, because they're not going to want to mess with you. So see, work out. It's a good thing. But beyond that, I will say one last thing. If you can't actually control this behavior at first, which probably will be the case, then I have a tip for you that you can start putting into action while you work towards completely eradicating this behavior in general. So if you feel like you must vent about someone for whatever reason, at least decide not to vent or to attack their character itself. So choose to attack their actions or their words or something like that, just not them themselves. You see what I mean? So for instance, if you have a coworker who nobody likes and they do a bunch of shitty things, at least don't attack that coworker and say that this person is a piece of shit, they're horrible, nobody likes them. Instead of doing that, say, hey, this coworker did this one thing this one time that upset me and didn't sit right with me, and I wish they wouldn't do that. But I understand they're trying as hard as we all are, and they're struggling like we all do. They're making mistakes like we all do. It happens to everyone. So they're not a bad person. I just didn't appreciate them doing this one thing. Do you see? That's way different than calling them a piece of shit to everyone who knows them. It makes you look far better than the person who does that. So at least if you must vent, then yeah, don't attack their character. Just attack something separate from them. Their behavior, their words, whatever it may be, just don't attack them. It'll make people actually develop more respect for you, even if you're still engaging in the behavior of pretty much talking poorly about them. At least you're not attacking their character itself. So that will help you big time on this journey. But at the end of the day, you definitely want to strive to no longer talking poorly about anyone behind their backs, because there's just no point in it. And it'll make your life a lot better, because people will trust you more, they'll respect you more, and they'll believe that you have integrity, which is where you want to be. That is such an awesome thing when people look up to you as having integrity. It's a really powerful tool, or a really powerful trait, that I feel like more people should understand the value of it. I feel like we're really sleeping on integrity, and we don't value it as much as it should be, because it's such a powerful trait for people to have, and it basically makes you an upright, upstanding citizen. God, it sounds like I'm making a government commercial, but it basically makes you an upright person, and that's what you want to be. You want to be someone that people can look up to and that they can trust. So begin that journey by working to eradicate this behavior of talking poorly about other people behind their backs. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!